we may finally have the answer to the debate that headlined last season for Real Madrid.
Has become the guy at Real Madrid, which was always going to happen, eventually.
Kylian Mbappe's start to the season for Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr.'s start to the season for Real Madrid. But was this always going to happen? Or was it because of the other things that happened outside the pitch? And what's all of this got to do with a summer approach from Real Madrid that's completely changed everything at the club? Just before we continue though, this video isn't to say Vinicius Jr. isn't important at Real Madrid or that he's done. Far from that. Xabi Alonso has come out to state that he's still got Vini in his plans, but we're looking at this from the angle of the Mbappe and Vini saga, the headline 24-25, and so far, it doesn't seem like that would be happening again this season. Kylian Mbappe has been on another level. For Real Madrid this season, he's been sensational. 5 matches, 6 goals. He's scored in all but 1 match so far this campaign as of recording this. But it's not just the goals. I mean, he was scoring goals last season. So what's changed with Mbappe then? He looks like a different animal, more than just a goal scorer. He's becoming that guy for the club. Dribbling, he's completed the most dribbles for the club this season with 23. He's also creating chances for his teammates too. Alongside Arda Güler, he's created the most chances for Real Madrid again as of recording this. 4 Man of the Match awards, Real Madrid's August Player of the Month, and he even hit the 50-goal milestone for the club. Then you think away from the stats. Mbappe really does look different. In fact, the truth is, he hasn't looked as sharp as this in a long while. We're talking as far back as the 2017-18 season, where he was full burner at the World Cup. He lost 4 kilos in the summer. Now he looks sharper and fitter. He's pulling tricks and at the same time being very effective in the final third. That's Mbappe's new reality, now the main guy at Real Madrid. But what it also means is that on the flip side, Vinicius Jr. isn't the same anymore. Honestly, we'd have tried not to read meaning into his start to the season, but with Mbappe's form now, Vini's in a tight spot. For context, he started 3 of Real Madrid's 4 games this season, just 1 goal contribution in the opening 3. The one game where he did start off the bench against Real Oviedo, he changed it. He bagged a goal and an assist in the 3-0 win. He didn't start against Marseille in the Champions League opener days back, and came off the bench, and once again had some impact. He won that very controversial penalty for Mbappe to steal all 3 points against Marseille. And I say steal because, I mean, this is never a pen. But focusing on Vini, it might just be 2 games in. But is Xabi Alonso trying to indicate something? Send a message? Just before we get into the message Xabi Alonso is trying to send, be sure to hit that subscribe button to Football Historia if you haven't already yet, for more videos like this.
As I said, there will be a moment for everyone. Nobody will play every match. Nobody should feel offended if they don't start. We need everyone because the schedule is so demanding.
Xabi Alonso is very clear. No one should feel offended if they don't start. He praised Vini's impact from the bench as he did against Oviedo. But he's also letting Vini know that there are no guaranteed starters in the team. You have to earn the right to play. So far, it's Mbappe that's done that. If we're being honest, Mbappe so far has played like a man desperate to prove a point. Desperate to show that he can score goals and still contribute even more to this Real Madrid team. I mean, think about how crazy good you have to be to score 40+ goals in a debut season, and yet everyone still believes you can do more. Mbappe knows that. That's what he's doing. But you can't say the same for Vini. We're still seeing a couple of childish mistakes. Dribbling has always been part of Vini's game. He wants to take on players and express himself. But the point is that there are moments where you'd expect him to mature into the level where he knows he should opt for the final pass, or create more than take on his opponents. He's still making the same basic mistakes. Now, he's in a situation where he's not going to get as much game time anymore. We've seen Xabi Alonso opt to use Rodrygo in the same position, and while it's not really about goals and assists with Rodrygo, you can very well make the claim that with him on the side, the team is more balanced. So where does all of this leave Vini now? This was him just a season ago.
And on and on and on he goes and scores! How about that? 2-0 down, 4-2 up.
It's almost as if the roles reversed. In the opening game of the 2024-25 Champions League season, It was Vini who grabbed the headlines after scoring a hat-trick in the 5-2 comeback win against Borussia Dortmund. Mbappé also got a goal contribution as well, but the night belonged to Vini. Ask any Real Madrid fan at the time last season, or even some of his teammates at the club, and it would have been almost unthinkable for Real Madrid to head into a big game without starting Vini. That's the current reality now. Yes, the game against Marseille was open and could have easily gone either way, but the fact is there were so many positives surrounding the attacking performance that you wouldn't mind Alonso using the same starting 11 if it can continue. What we're seeing under Xabi Alonso is a pattern. There are a couple of names in the team to suggest this. Take Arda Güler as a prime example. Alongside Kylian Mbappe, he's arguably been the most positive change to Xabi Alonso's tenure as head coach. The biggest chances created in the team with Mbappe, 3 goal contributions in 4 La Liga games this season. He's already played 323 minutes this season, way more than he did at this stage under former head coach Carlo Ancelotti. He's the creative face of the team. Or guys like Aurelien Tchouameni. With each game, he's showing he is very important to this Real Madrid system under Xabi Alonso. From clean tackles to interceptions. In that pivot role, he looks like the Tchouameni Real Madrid bought from Monaco in 2022. We're not trying to change the discussion to the team, we're just using these two to show a point. There are players in the Real Madrid team now from last season who have improved under Xabi Alonso. In turn, these guys are starting. It seems like Alonso really isn't playing favourites. That's the pattern. Show up in training and perform on the pitch and you play. It's the same category Mbappé falls into, and the same with Vini as well. If it continues like this, then in the big games, I'm talking the likes of the Champions League game against Liverpool, or even El Clásico against Barcelona, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Vini dropped and players like Rodrygo getting the nod. Now guys, remember that at the start of the video, we talked about a summer approach that could ultimately push the gap between Mbappe and Vinícius even further.
Their contract did this, so of course, contract talks between Real Madrid and Vinícius Jr. started going into this summer, towards the end of last season, as I say, with 2 years left on his deal. Now, what we know is that the demands of Vini Jr. in terms of how much money he's asking for and what Madrid have offered him so far, there's still a big gap between those two figures.
It's this. Vinícius Jr. was the subject of a difficult contract negotiation with Real Madrid. According to multiple reports, he wanted a salary that matched his perceived status at the club as one of Madrid's best players. Real Madrid weren't exactly willing to renew his contract, especially after the season they had, so they said no, and like that, the rumours started to spread. Talk of Vini potentially moving to the Saudi Pro League for crazy money. It didn't happen and he stayed, but the fact that the rumours even came about means there's an underlying message to all of this. Before Mbappe arrived, Vinícius Jr. used to be the guy at the club, the face of the club. He used to be the most commercially marketable player at Real Madrid. Now he isn't any longer. Mbappe's come in and the truth is he's a bigger franchise to Real Madrid than Vinícius Jr. is to the club. It's why, from a financial standpoint, Real Madrid can decide to shock the world and refuse Vinícius Jr. a wage bump as many times as they want, unless Vini deserves it. He has to work for it now. I mean, with everything we've said, Real Madrid is in a situation where Kylian Mbappe is the guy they can't afford to lose, not Vini. Then it plays into the pitch. Vinícius Jr. isn't performing? Xabi Alonso's got Rodrygo now. Heck, he can twist his system and use both Mbappe and Gonzalo Garcia in attack. The point is, Vinícius Jr. is slowly becoming a liability to the club. Perform or shut it. Between the two of them, though, there doesn't seem to be any issues. They're both cool with each other. Last season, the talk was about how they were essentially left wingers in Real Madrid's attack, and how they both clashed. Now it isn't like that. Mbappe plays more centrally and drops deep in areas to affect the game, while at the same time not clashing with any of his teammates. Vinícius Jr. on the other hand, when he has played, has been primarily down the left wing. He's had his moments, like that beautiful goal against Mallorca. But he needs more. If this were a debate from last season, it looks like it's been wrapped up now. So what's the verdict then? The dark truth? Real Madrid knew from the day Kylian Mbappe arrived that he was going to be the face of the club irrespective of whether Vinícius Jr. was still in it or not. Unfortunately, Vinícius Jr. didn't realise this. Mbappe has a more complete profile. Last season, when he arrived though, the odds were in Vini's hands, at least at the early part of the season a year ago. The part of the season where Mbappe was struggling to score goals from open play and Vini was netting curlers. Vini was the guy, but it all changed after the Ballon d'Or saga. After Vini's snub and the outburst, even the most die-hard Real Madrid fans would agree that he hasn't been the same. He's dipped in levels and consistency from what he was 2 seasons ago in the 2023-24 campaign. Mbappe continued to score goals. He broke the record for the most goals in a debut season at the club. What still worked in Vini's favour at the time was that Mbappe's goals coincided with Madrid losing big games in the Champions League and the bad performances against Barca. Now Vini doesn't have any of that. Real Madrid might not be at their best now, but they're winning. Mbappe is performing. As of recording this, they're the only team in La Liga with a 100% record. We talked about his dribbling stats earlier. That used to be the area Vini had the nod. Now Mbappe's dribbling, scoring goals, being decisive in games, and Vini's struggling to get a spot in the team. It's the package. With a 10 on his back, Mbappe is the superstar. Think of how crazy it is that once he changed jerseys, it put the club in a position where they're set to make even more millions than they did with the number 9 jersey he wore last season. It just fits into the grand narrative of what we're saying. Mbappe is the more complete player on the pitch. Off it, he's also the more marketable. He's finally clicking for Real Madrid, and that debate might be over already. Now, to be fair, there's still a lot of football to be played between now and the end of the season. Vinícius Jr. can still go on a mid-season run that's insane, and suddenly the narrative changes again. A player with his quality just needs the right environment or the right setting to make it work. But again, the point is, right now, if the season somehow ended for Real Madrid, there's only one Real Madrid attacker you can see having a strong push for the Ballon d'Or, and it's not Vinícius Jr., it's Mbappe. Then again, if anyone was to leave out of the two, the reality is that it's far more likely to be Vinícius Jr. than Mbappe. We've already talked about Mbappe's commercial value at the club. With Vinícius Jr. and his contract expiring in 2027, the safety net that the club might renew isn't there anymore. It could become a case of Real Madrid deciding to accept bids for Vini from as early as next summer, just to avoid losing him on a free transfer. At this point, you can't rule it out. There aren't many teams in Europe that can afford to sign Vini. There's only a select few, clubs like PSG, Man City and Bayern Munich. Then you look at the players these clubs have in the positions Vini plays, and the only realistic option comes down to Man City. But the plot twist here is that the Real Madrid left winger Pep Guardiola would ideally want is Rodrygo, not Vini. Meaning Saudi could become his final destination. Again, all of this is just a theory, but with the way this season has started, it could be more. It's crazy to think that with his early form now, there's already talk about Mbappe potentially winning the Ballon d'Or, and the majority are now forgetting just how bad he used to be. Click the next video if you need a reminder of just how bad Kylian Mbappe was last season.